DJ Mafia, what's poppin'? So NFL fans and Jaguar fans, today is Monday, August 7th, which means that we are officially less than 1 week away from the start of NFL preseason. The Jaguars will be taking on the Dallas Cowboys this Saturday evening, August 12th at 5 p.m. Eastern to kick off their 2023 season. And for NFL fans, outside of just Jaguar fans, there's a lot of optimism with this Jaguars team coming into this year. And I know that a lot of people in the NFL community are ecstatic to watch what this team in Duuuval County is going to do this year, because if you go back just one season to 2022, in the first year under Doug Peterson, the Jaguars overachieved and exceeded everybody's expectations. Trevor Lawrence in year 2 had a sophomore surge. He proved to be a franchise quarterback, and he proved to be one of the upper elite tier type of quarterbacks, and you expect big things from him in year 3. Then you also look at the fact that the Jaguars went 9-8. They won the division, and then the Jaguars came back down from 27-0 in the wild card round of the playoffs to beat the Los Angeles Chargers, and then they went all the way toe-to-toe down to the wire with the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium in the divisional round of the playoffs, and the Jaguars were one possession away from potentially winning that game, and the Jaguars had their opportunities in that game to win that game. There's a lot of things to look forward to with this team now going into year 2 under Doug Peterson. The Jaguars added one of the more talented and prolific wide receivers in the game in Calvin Ridley. You expect a huge year 3 and an MVP caliber type of season for Trevor Lawrence in this offense that features guys like Calvin Ridley, Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, Jamal Agnew, Zay Jones, Travis Etienne in the backfield, and then 2 other rookies that are going to make big contributions on this offense with guys like Brenton Strange and Tank Bigsby in the backfield. The Jaguars have a revamped offensive line. There's a lot to look forward to with this team, and this team's going to be extremely formidable, especially in the regular season. But there's still one big glaring weakness when it comes to this Jaguars team that nobody in the NFL community is talking about, and that is going to be with the pass rushing depth of this team. To kick things off, let's just look at it plain and simple. Outside of their 2 budding stars in Trayvon Walker, the former number 1 overall pick, and the former number 7 overall pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, Josh Allen, the Jaguars have a depth problem with their pass rushing department, especially in that front 7, and the Jaguars had an opportunity in these last couple of weeks to go ahead and address those issues. The first guy was Danielle Hunter from the Minnesota Vikings. He wanted a new contract, and now he's going to be remaining with the Minnesota Vikings. Yannick Ngakoue could have potentially had a return back to the Jacksonville Jaguars on the open market. He decides to go to the Chicago Bears. And then number 3, Justin Houston now goes and signs with the Carolina Panthers on a 1-year deal. The Jaguars have their opportunities to go out there and try to get another edge rusher to add to this group, to really show everybody that they're taking this group seriously and they're taking this team seriously to go ahead and make a deep postseason run, especially when you look all over the AFC and there is elite, top talented quarterbacks all across the conference. As a defense, you're going to have to be able to get home to the quarterback, and that's what ultimately derailed the Jaguars in the divisional round when the Jaguars could not get home and generate enough quarterback pressure on Patrick Mahomes, and hell, even a Chad Henne on a 98-yard touchdown drive. Now let's actually go ahead and talk about this. Now, the most significant pass rusher that the Jaguars lost this past offseason that's really not returning to this group in year 2 under the new defensive coordinator Mike Caldwell was really Arden Key, who went to the Tennessee Titans. And Arden Key did some great things for the Jaguars, but the Jaguars did retain most of their guys in the front 7, and they're still here after being here last year as well too. But let's actually go back and look at what the Jaguars did in 2022 as a defense. They had 35 sacks. Josh Allen led the team in sacks. 172 quarterback pressures. Josh Allen led the team in quarterback pressures. 56 QB hurries. Guess who? Josh Allen led the team in quarterback hurries. The Jaguars had a 44% pass rush win rate percentage, which was number 8 in the entire NFL. And the Jaguars as a defense was tied for 4th with 27 turnovers created. They had 14 interceptions last year and 13 fumble recoveries. And Josh Allen had the 3rd most forced fumbles in the NFL. Now, 3 quick points I want to address with all of this when you're talking about the Jaguars pass rushing department, right? The first one is, if the Jaguars offense is going to be so dynamic and so prolific in 2023, if the Jaguars can be one of the league leaders in offensive points per game scored, that's going to generate a lot more pressure on opposing offenses, which is ultimately going to help the Jaguars defense, because you're going to be putting the opposing opposition into a lot of passing situations, especially if you get them on 3rd and long, which means that you're going to be able to generate more pressure on the quarterback more than likely, and you're going to have more opportunities to get home and sack the quarterback. While that's a fair argument, I still have my levels of concern when it comes to that. The second quick point is, I've been on record, and I'm going to say it yet again, I'm a firm believer that Trayvon Walker is going to dominate the NFL in year 2. The former #1 overall pick showed a lot of promise and a lot of potential in his first year in the NFL, and obviously everybody knew coming into the NFL he was going to be a raw prospect and a raw athlete that we were going to have to continue to develop after what we saw from what he did at Georgia, and he proved a lot in his first year, but there's still a lot of things that he's going to work on. I expect a Khalil Mack type of jump where we saw Khalil Mack in his first year in 2014 back with the Oakland Raiders show some good things, but in his second year, he dominated the NFL as an edge, and I think that's exactly what you're going to see from Trayvon Walker. He's too dominant, too physical of an athletic specimen, and as soon as he continues to refine his mechanics and continues to build on that confidence, he's going to be a dominant edge in this game. And I think that with Josh Allen in a contract year, playing on his 5th-year option, he's bound to have a dominant season, and that's going to take a lot of pressure away from Trayvon Walker as well too. I believe those two budding stars are going to ball out this year. There's no questions or concerns coming from my end when you're referring to Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen as a duo in 2023. And my last big quick point with all of this is the Jaguars have 4 huge games on their schedule. And while the Jaguars do have a relatively easy schedule, they're obviously in one of the worst divisions in football that features 3 other rookie quarterbacks with CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, and Will Levis. The Jaguars do have a very formidable schedule, but when you do look at it, they have 4 huge interconference games when you refer to the Baltimore Ravens, the Buffalo Bills, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Kansas City Chiefs. The Jaguars are going to have to go out there and prove to not just Jaguar fans, but to NFL fans at least 2 of those games and win 2 of those games to go ahead and prove to us going into the postseason we can feel confident about this team moving forward, and we know that we can go out there and we can compete with some of the 4 best teams in the entire American Football Conference. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the Jaguars front 7 outside of their 2 budding stars in Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen, kind of getting back to the original point of this video when you talk about their depth. When you look back at the linebacker core outside of Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker, you've got Foye Oluokun, who's led the NFL in tackles the last 2 seasons combined. And then you go ahead and look at Devin Lloyd and Chad Muma. Both of these guys are going into their sophomore season. These guys showed a lot of promise and a lot of potential, and I expect big things from them going into year 2. But then let's go ahead and look at the rest of their depth, right? Because those are guys that I feel very confident in. Roy Robertson-Harris got an extension this past season. Devon Hamilton, Folaranzu Fatukasi, Dewan Smoot coming off an Achilles injury, and we're very grateful to have him back here in Jacksonville. Kayvon Chason, Ventrell Miller, Yasir Abdullah, Jordan Smith, Adam Gottsitz, Tyler Lacey, and Shaquille Quarterman. For me, I am not comfortable with this depth that the Jaguars have presented, and maybe Doug Peterson and Mike Caldwell feel extremely confident in this group because they trust the process and they trust their coaching staff to go ahead and continue to develop these guys in year 2 under Doug Peterson and Mike Caldwell. But outside of this linebacker core, in Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker, who are going to be 2 prominent edge rushers, Chad Muma, Foye Oluokun, and Devin Lloyd, these guys are not going to be consistently getting after the quarterback. So when I take a look at the rest of the guys who will be in that front 7 with guys like Roy Robertson-Harris, Fatukasi, Devon Hamilton, how much do I trust these guys to consistently go out there and make an impact on that side of the ball when it comes to getting home and getting QB pressures on a night in and night out basis every single Sunday? Then I look at guys like Kayvon Chason from the 2020 draft class. I've been a guy who's really pumped the brakes with him because it's not fair to quite judge Kayvon Chason, even though he has been a bust since getting drafted by Dave Caldwell in that 2020 draft class. He's gone through 3 different head coaches and 3 different defensive coordinators. Let's cut the guy a little bit of a break, but also he hasn't produced. Dewan Smoot's coming off an Achilles injury, and I hope and I pray that he can continue to get back to form and continue to be this great edge that we've known him to be, a guy who really embraces being here in Jacksonville. And then I'm going to talk about 3 rookies with guys like Ventrell Miller, Yasir Abdullah, and Tyler Lacey. How much of these guys are going to actually get a consistent impact on the team, and how much are they going to get an opportunity to really show their worth I can't really set any kind of expectations for guys that are late round picks, especially as rookies. And then you're also gonna talk about guys like Jordan Smith and Adam Gotsis, guys who've been retained with the team, but Jordan Smith has not remained healthy since being drafted by the Jaguars a couple of seasons back from the University of Alabama, Birmingham. And Adam Gotsis is just another key rotational player. Shaq Quarterman's been with the team for some time now, and he's obviously a homegrown talent, but I do not trust this depth. That is a subjective statement by me, right? I don't have questions and concerns when you talk about guys like Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker, but the rest of this depth to me is not proven enough. When you take a look at the rest of this depth, outside of Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker, the rest of that group has a career combined 59 sacks. The rest of those guys collectively have put together 59 career sacks combined in their career. I am not comfortable with the depth that the Jaguars have at the pass rushing position, because when you look at the AFC, take a look at all the phenomenal quarterbacks that you're gonna have in this conference, right? You're gonna have guys like Patrick Mahomes, obviously the best player in all of football, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson's probably gonna get back to form this season with Cleveland, Aaron Rodgers, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, and the Jaguars have had their number with him, but he's still a phenomenal player, and Russell Wilson, who probably will bounce back this season. There is a plethora of elite top-tier quarterbacks in the AFC, and the Jaguars have to be able to get home to the quarterback, generate pressure, and make sure that they can put the offense into a lot more formidable situations moving forward, even if they're not creating turnovers. The Jaguars have a pass rushing problem the Jaguars need to go ahead and address. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but the Jaguars coaching staff clearly believes that Dawuane Smoot coming off an Achilles injury and K'Lavon Chaisson are gonna be the third edge rusher behind Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen, because God forbid that Josh Allen or Trayvon Walker, one of our two elite edge rushers, are gonna go down with an injury or miss any kind of significant time. Knock on wood for them. What are the Jaguars gonna do then? Please answer that question for me. Now, I do want to kind of end this video by saying that yes, this is a very negative criteria and a negative outlook I have on the Jaguars edge rushers as a whole right now, and that's usually not me. I'm the very optimistic, very level-headed Jaguars fan, but this to me is a level of concern that I don't believe many people in the NFL community are talking about outside of just the Jaguars community. And like I said, even if Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker produce, I have to see more, and I want to see more from the depth that we have. And like I said, God forbid one of these guys goes down. I don't know if I trust the Jaguars' depth as a whole, and I want to see what this Jaguars team is going to be able to go out there and produce. Maybe I'm wrong, and I hope I am wrong, but with this elite level of talent that we see at the quarterback position in the American Football Conference, the Jaguars need to do something defensively to go ahead and bolster this front seven. And I think the Jaguars might have missed their opportunities by not signing a guy like Justin Houston, Yannick Ngakoue, or potentially trading for a Danielle Hunter. But at the end of the day, I'm not Mike Caldwell, I'm not Trent Baalke, I'm not Doug Peterson. I trust these players and I trust the coaching staff to go ahead and put the right talent, the right production out there on the field. And I do believe that the Jaguars will still go out there and have a very successful 2023 season. This is just my level of concern when it comes to the team. But Jaguar fans and NFL fans, if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you guys go ahead and drop me a thumbs up. It takes 1 second and it helps me and the channel out tremendously. If you guys are also new here, consider hitting that subscribe bell to stay tuned for more Jaguars content that I do here on YouTube. And make sure you guys also go ahead and follow me on my socials, especially on Twitter. I'm very active and I'm on there every single day. The link tree will be in the description down below, so you guys can go ahead and go check that out. But Jaguar fans, thanks again for sticking around throughout the whole video. Brett James, aka BJ. I'm out, y'all. Go Jags, baby. Peace.